The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is the Players Lounge, broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now your hosts, Barry Church, Danny McCray, and Newy Scruggs.
Hey, welcome to the Tuesday edition of the Players Lounge, brought to you by Hotels.com. I'm Newy Scruggs, longtime Cowboys reporter, joined by two former Dallas Cowboys players. They play safety for the Silver and Blue, Danny McCray and Barry Church. All right, here we are on a Tuesday, and I can't remember, when's the last time all of us picked the Monday Night Football game correctly? Because last night it happened. We all had Baltimore winning. Baltimore won the game. It's been a minute.
Hey, it's been a long time, but that was a lot closer of a game than I thought. You know, I thought coming into that one, Baltimore was going to put it on Cleveland, being their little brother and all. But, hey, man, Baker showed up. Baker and them boys showed up. And I tell you what, the best thing that ever happened to Baker might be the absence of OBJ. I don't know, man, but he's kind of good these past couple weeks. I don't know.
First of all, Church, did you pick a spread or points for that game, or did you just say that Baltimore was going to win?
I just said Baltimore was going to win. You know.
Okay, so you
Yes.
So you taking half? So you taking half of? I said Baltimore was going to win by 6.
You did, but you didn't give a score. I was the only one that gave a score, but you said
how much did they win by?
Barry said nothing. You know what?
They won by 5.
They won by 5. I had them winning 26-21 in a close game, so I thought it would be.
Oh, so you got the 5 point. Okay, Newy, I see you churching last again.
Look at Newy out here. I heard that slight comment too, but I'm gonna brush it to the side.
Listen, I really wanted to ask at the beginning of the show before we get into it, because I'm looking at Church's outfit right now, and he looked cold up top. He looked a little warm with the. He looked a little warm with the shirt. I'm not sure if he got on pants or basketball shorts, but I'm trying to figure out, wait, you up in Pittsburgh and down in Texas at the same time? What we got going on here with the outfit today?
I'm in Texas, but I tell you what, man, I just got done with my boy McCray, a.k.a. Billy Blank's workout. Man. He didn't make it earlier today. He just sent it to the group chat, so I ended up going into the garage and getting it in before the show. And that's why I'm a little, it's cold in the garage, so I got to keep the dome clean. And, the rest of the stuff is sweated out. So, that's where I'm at right now with the outfit,
All right. Okay. All right. Just checking, bro. Just checking.
Billy Blanks. Billy. When I lived in Sherman Oaks, Billy Blanks' studio was right over there. It was on Ventura Boulevard, Van Nuys Ventura. Billy's his studio was right there. And I remember we had a nice conversation. And believe it or not, over there at training camp in Oxnard at the Camarillo outlet, he was buying shoes, and I ended up like, "Hey, Billy Blanks, man," said, "I got that tape. I can only do 5 minutes, man. I was sore. I wore out." He's like, "It's okay. You just keep on going." Like, "Nah, bro, not really. I was sitting there gassed by 5, and this was the warm up, man." I said, you gotta make one of them. Exactly. You gotta make one of them fat folks tapes, man, where we ain't ready to get up here and go like you in the class and everybody else there. So, but nice guy, man. Billy, a nice guy, man. But that tape, boy, don't make sure you've been exercising, do a little something. I mean, that tape ain't for no beginner.
Oh, man.
So when I'm watching the game against Cleveland and Baltimore last night, here's what comes into my head over and over again. What they could have had they continued to take Myles Garrett, number 1, from Arlington, which they did, and then instead of trading the pick, taking Deshaun Watson. How good could the Cleveland Browns be? They would be
like
scared.
night
They
and day
would
to
be
me.
a scary team. That is a scary football team if they have to shoot.
Church, I heard you say night and day. And after watching the game last night and seeing that the Cleveland Browns are 9-4, I don't really know how much better they could get on top of this year. Baker Mayfield has had some questionable games, but he's been playing better as the season has wore on. And I like the way that they're leaning on the running game versus having Baker Mayfield try to pass the ball the whole time. So I think that Baker Mayfield being there allows them to run a scheme that fits for them in Cleveland. And if Deshaun Watson was there, I think they would be trying to do some things a little differently. So I'm not sure. I actually like the way Baker Mayfield's been playing recently. And if he keeps this up and they keep on depending on the run game, I think they got the right pick.
Well, I'll say this: if Deshaun Watson's there, Hugh Jackson may be there because they'd have kept the jobs. But everybody got getting fired because they decided they were going to take Deshaun Kaiser in the second round, and he couldn't play. And then they had Cody Kessler. I mean, it was just a mess of quarterbacks they threw out there. When you mess up the quarterback spot, you set yourself back for a minute, man. It is bad, bad, bad. By the way, one reason why I brought up Cleveland was getting to this. So Cleveland's next opponent is the New York Giants. And the Cleveland Giant game took the Dallas Cowboys San Francisco 49er game, which is supposed to be on Sunday night. So the Cowboys now play at noon against the Niners over at Jerry World, and then Cleveland and the Giants get that spotlight that the Cowboys are supposed to have with the 49ers.
And I know we said that the coaches and the players are messing with Jerry's money, but realistically, the 49ers aren't really doing much and the Cowboys aren't doing much. So I think the onus is on both of these teams. And New York and Cleveland are both fighting for playoff spots. So I think it's a fair thing. But usually, the Cowboys have something to fight for. And I think everybody's just giving up on the 49ers and the Cowboys. So nobody wants to really watch it.
But this has never happened, Danny. I mean, even when the Cowboys had questionable playoff hopes, they found a way to get them on. And I go back to maybe it's about 3 years ago. It was a game in Oakland, and the Cowboys were they were struggling trying to make it. The Raiders were struggling trying to make it. And I ended up calling one of my PR buddies over at NBC Sports. I said, "What do you think?" And he said, "If there's any mathematical way that these two teams are there, we're going to try and get it in." And of course they were. And it ended up being a very good game that came down to the end. And then Derek Carr tried to run for the end zone. He dives for the pylon and fumbles the ball out of bounds. I think Jeff Heath ended up hitting him, and the Cowboys ended up winning the game. But they've always found a way until Mike McCarthy showed up, and that ended. That's over. So no Sunday Night Football. And it's a noon game now, man.
This is why Dak Prescott is worth $40 million, because I can almost guarantee you that if he was the starting quarterback for this game, they wouldn't have got flexed out of the primetime game.
Yeah, I doubt they would be in this position if he was a starting quarterback. They might be in playoff position right now. So they definitely wouldn't have got flexed out of this one.
Pay the man.
Yes, Dak Prescott. Dak made up for a whole lot. We're seeing that. So let's lead this into Mike McCarthy, gentlemen. Every Tuesday at 8:30 on 105.3 The Fan, Jerry Jones does his radio show. And Jerry was asked about Mike McCarthy coming back next year. And it all started with a report over the weekend from Ian Rappaport of NFL Network that he said, hey, his sources with the Cowboys are telling him that Mike McCarthy's coming back. Then Stephen Jones was asked about it yesterday on The Fan. It seems like, of course, Mike McCarthy's coming back. So today, it was Jerry's turn to be asked the question, and here's what he had to say to Sean and RJ.
Not one time have I been in any discussion, had any dream, been sitting by myself, have I given a thought to anything but Mike McCarthy being our coach next year and being our coach in the future. How in the hell something like that could get going with a conversation with Steven or anybody else about whether McCarthy's going to be the coach or not is ridiculous. Now, just think about it. We've just made the move to start down the road with our coach, and we all understand that continuity, really sticking with a plan and having a long-term plan to put your team together around a particular coach and his style and his ability to just put a winning team on the field. He won't do it the same way he did it in Green Bay. I'm talking Mike McCarthy. But the facts are, does he have the background? Does he have the experience? Does he have the skill set? Does he have the ability to motivate? Does he have the knowledge? The answer is yes, and that's why we hired him. But we sure didn't hire him to sit here and have a rough year right out the door. Some of your greatest jobs that have been done coaching for the Dallas Cowboys have had a very unimpressive start, whether it be Coach Landry, or whether it be Jimmy Johnson, or even Bill. Those starts have not been something that had Super Bowl written all over them, but still they evolved into being a part of some great teams. The jobs that you do, you've got to handicap, and you've got to look into what's happening to you, why it's happening to you. And unless you all of a sudden have somebody that has just totally different person than they were when they were having their success, their backgrounds can make a lot of difference here. And I've been known to stick with these guys for in early troubled times on coaching.
You know, Jerry, you mentioned it
I don't understand, frankly, to show how ridiculous this conversation is in terms of it actually having any meat on the bone. I've never even, I don't think I've even dreamed the thought of Mike not being the coach.
All right, that's the Hall of Famer, Jerry Jones, his take this morning about Mike McCarthy. And Jerry was wrong on one thing. Bill Parcells went 10-6 with Quincy Carter's quarterback and went to the playoffs his first year here with the Cowboys. So Bill Parcells started off with gangbusters. I remembered that and covered those teams. So it's ridiculous, he says, about Mike McCarthy not being back. McCray, your take on what you just heard?
I mean, his reasoning makes sense, but I don't think it's ridiculous for anybody for it to be in their mind just based off what we've been seeing on the field. Some of the things you're hearing with, we got Anonymous, coming out. We got players not playing hard on defense and him having to talk about hustling and finishing to the ball. All these things, they lead up to the head man. So when you hear stuff like this and you see the play that's been on the field, I think it's reasonable to question, should he come back? But knowing Jerry, we know that he's going to have McCarthy's back and, and stick with him and see how this thing plays out for the next few years.
Yeah, for me, I think like McCray said, it's fair to question just because the expectations we had coming into this season, we thought, it was going to be playoffs. It was going to be a playoff year, but it didn't happen that way. So people are going to question, the rumblings are going to get out there, but I agree with Jerry. I mean, you got to give him at least one more year. There's too many variables. There's too many things going on this season that kind of hampered his go-around season with the Cowboys. I mean, like we mentioned yesterday, there's no off-season, mini camps, training camps, preseason, all that, and we're putting into a new system into account. And with all that, the injuries, we still got to talk about the injuries that happened on both sides of the ball. So for me, I got to give him at least one more go-around. One more go-around. Hopefully everybody can stay healthy. He'll have a full offseason under his belt, so he'll get to implement his philosophy on what he wants the players to do and what he thinks is acceptable and what he thinks is not acceptable. And hopefully he can get this team back to where they need to go. I think what this team needs is just accountability. And hopefully during the offseason, he can instruct that onto his team that, hey, look, man, we're only as good as our weakest link. So we got to keep everybody accountable. And hopefully he's able to put that onto his team with a full offseason. I say you got to give him one more go around, but somebody got to fall on the sword. I don't know if it's Mike Nolan. I don't know if it's Kellen Moore. I don't know if it's the special teams coordinator, whoever it is. Somebody got to fall on the sword, because I guarantee you fans will not be happy if this full coaching staff as a whole unit comes back next year for another go around.
I still want to know what the system is. Oh, go ahead. No, my bad.
No. Go ahead, Danny.
No, I want to know what is the new system that we have to input, especially offensively. Kellen Moore is still the offensive coordinator. All right, we did everything the same except give Zeke the ball. All right, and on defense, I understand that we put in a 3-4 versus a 4-3. Special teams is special teams. The only thing that we're doing wrong on special teams is running fakes and getting caught doing it. All right, defense to me is the big question mark. But offensively, I don't understand, us not having an offseason, a new scheme and all this. I mean, CeeDee Lamb's new. Amari Cooper's been here. Gallup's been here. Dak has been here. Zeke has been here. There's a lot of guys who are running some of the same stuff that they seen last year. And we still started off the season struggling in the first half. And now we're struggling, with our second string quarterback as well to put up points on the board.
But what I think is what has hurt us most this season. It's been the defense. The defense has hampered us the most part of this season, and that's the only new system that was brought into this year. Was that defensive system with Mike Nolan? Because you said Kellen Moore's coming back, and he had the same terminology or implemented the same offensive strategy as we did last year. So to me, it was all on the defense, and we see what happened here. So I think next year, if he can get a full offseason with a full defense under his regime, I think they'll play a little bit better.
Wait, with Mike Nolan?
No, not with Big Mike. Nah. Like I said, somebody got to go, and I think it's gonna be Big Mike.
So they gonna put in a new defense with a whole nother scheme. They gonna go through the same thing again, and then they gonna have to get a defense a whole nother year.
I'm just hopefully they have an off season. That's all I'm saying. Hopefully they have an off season to put that defense in.
Let's take a break. Jerry Jones handing out a pardon to Mike McCarthy. He handed out another pardon today.
A pardon.
And I will tell you who got it. And we'll go ahead and the stay of execution, it seems like, for this coach. Let's talk about it on the Players Lounge right here, brought to you by Hotels.com on DallasCowboys.com radio.
Hey there, Cowboys fans. With Tide Cleaners at-home pickup and delivery, cleaning your clothes has never been more convenient. Simply sign up at your local store, set out your dirty clothes, and one of our Tide Cleaners professionals will come directly to your home for a totally contactless experience. Your clean garments will be returned promptly the next scheduled delivery day, so skip the errand and enjoy life, not laundry. Visit TideCleaners.com or your local store to sign up for Tide Cleaners at-home pickup and delivery today.
Just like all of you, we at SeatGeek can't wait until we're back in the stands at full strength cheering on the Cowboys and singing along to our favorite songs again. We're using this time to make discovering, buying, and selling tickets to events in Dallas easier. Plus, every ticket purchased on SeatGeek is protected by our buyer guarantee, which means you'll get your money back or better if your event is canceled. Guaranteed. Download the SeatGeek app today, and when the time is right, let's go. SeatGeek.
The Cowboys Way, where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like. Where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day. Where we are all defined by one single thing, the star. Where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys Way.
Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
We're back with a tasty treat that's sweeping airwaves and taste buds. It's new Dr. Pepper and Cream Soda. Let's take a listen.
Dr. Pepper and Cream Soda's here. A new combo that's music to my ears, okay. Let's play. Cream Soda and Dr. Pepper time. Pour it in a glass of ice.
Music to my ears and mouth. New Dr. Pepper and Cream Soda.
A delicious duet.
Back to the Players Lounge.
Hey, AT&T continues to innovate new ways to connect Cowboys Nation with new and exciting game day experiences, including Starview presented by AT&T 5G, available in stadium and for home use. Download the Cowboys mobile app and look for Starview under the Stadium tab. You are in the Players Lounge, brought to you by Hotels.com. We are in our SWBC virtual home studios, SWBC Mortgage Virtual Home Studios. I'm Newy Scruggs, longtime Cowboys reporter, joined by former Dallas Cowboys players Barry Church and Danny McCray. So, Jerry Jones with his weekly visit on 105.3 The Fan with Sean and RJ. He was asked about what he likes about Mike McCarthy as he came out and said it's ridiculous to even think about Mike McCarthy not being the head coach for the Cowboys next year. Here's Jerry.
I like the way that he's basically handled the situation with COVID. I like his interaction with players. I like his football intelligence, or the way he goes about his philosophy. I like all of that. I like his risk taking. You're not going to see it manifest itself the same way every time, but all of those kinds of things are every bit what I could have hoped for when we hired him as coach. But more importantly, he's done this. It's in his first rodeo. He's done it. I think that is important. Yes, I've gone with guys that haven't done it before relative to this level. But he's done it. He's got a great background. He's been exposed to a lot of good coaches. And this day and time, philosophically, I like his philosophy. He knows you can't go too far on one side of the ball or the other. You'll wear the other side out, or you will be flawed on one side if you just gotta kind of have it down the middle. That word is a big word when you say complement each other, the defense, the offense, the special teams. I like what we're trying to do on special teams. I love our special teams coach.
Boom. There you go. Jerry Jones pardoned Bones Fossil. Okay? How about that? How about that, McCray? How about that? Huh? How about that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I said, I was telling Church on the break, it sounds like the whole gang is coming back, man. I think that everybody is getting a free pass this year. I've watched the special teams play, and I've watched some of the crazy calls that we've made. I think they are covering well. Their coverage teams are playing well. We've seen Tony Pollard, he had 2 big returns over the last couple weeks. Other than that, we haven't really seen much out of the return game. And these fake punts and getting caught off guard with fakes getting running against us and getting lucky with them having illegal formations and false starts. That's the only things that saved us from being a horrible prepared special team. So, I don't see it, but I'm sure he loves what our special team coach has done in the past just as much as he's loved what Mike McCarthy has done in the past. We just need to see the past come to the future.
Man, look, I'm confused by that whole spiel my boy just went on right there. My boy Jerry just went on. Because, look, let me tell you something. Let's break down the first part. He was talking about how he loves the risk-taking of Big Mike and Mike McCarthy. Now, look, man, I don't want to look. There's a difference between risk-taking and just not smart calls. Let's go back to that 4th and 10 where we decided to run a double reverse fake with a pass by a wide receiver. Now, would you guys call that risk-taking, or would you just call that a not smart decision? I'm thinking that we're just as a total there's just a bad decision. Like, a risk-taking is 4th and 2. Let me give it to Zeke in the back and let me see if he can pound a couple yards out. Not smart decision is 4th and inches, and we decide to throw a hitch to CD Lamb. It's just things like that. These head scratching moments with Mike McCarthy I don't call them risk taking. I just call them not smart decisions because I don't want to call them dumb decisions. Now we go over to the special teams coach. He says he likes what he's seeing in our special teams. Was he there when Hookem Left missed 3 of those field goals to the left? I'm just not understanding what's going on right here. We can go back to the beginning of the season when Tony Pollard was bringing balls out 8 yards deep into the end zone, getting to the 10-yard line. And that cost us so much field position. I just haven't seen that much improvement from our special teams unit to go out there and say, yes, we like what we're seeing. Yes, had they performed a little bit better than they did in the beginning of the season? Yes, but that's not to be confused with worth anything. Let's be real about this. Overall, our 3 phases of the game have not been good at all. And so to me, that whole statement, that whole spiel my guy went on, it's just confusing to me overall, and it's a head scratcher.
Yeah, listen, going into the Mike McCarthy thing, I think it should be noted that these 2 things are different. Speaking about risk-taking and then bad decisions. Okay, it's fine. Like you said, if you want to go for it on 4th and 1, you want to go for it on 4th and 10, that's called taking a risk. All right, you took it and you're going for it. Now, what you do after you decide to take the risk, that's what makes it a bad decision. All right. So, yes, 4th and 1, throwing to CD Lamb, horrible decision. 4th and 10 on your own territory, going double reverse pass with your punt team, horrible decision. These are bad decisions. It's cool. I understand, Jerry. You want to take some more risk, probably go for 2, go on 4th down. But when you have guys that are making the bad decisions with the risk that they are taking, it doesn't add up. These 2 things are different, Jerry. And, they haven't played out for us well all season.
All right, gentlemen. I hear what you're saying, but the Grand Poobah has spoken. He said he likes what's going on special teams and loves the coach. So Bones Fossil's coming back. So if Bones Fossil comes back, here's something that needs to happen with Mike McCarthy, the head coach. And Danny, you'll understand this very well because, Barry, you'll understand this very well because you have young kids. Danny, you'll get to this point as your daughter grows up. It's one of those things where you want your kids to be creative and you give them a little latitude, but you don't trust them. You just don't trust them. You let them do some things, but you watch it. You peeking around the corner, or you tell them, go ahead, draw right here on the table in front of me. You just don't trust him. And that's what Mike McCarthy has to do. He has to treat, Bones Fossil like one of his kids. Hey, man, you better watch him. You better make sure you got eyes on him because you can't trust him. Because all of a sudden, if you let him go up in the room, all of a sudden you're going to see candy wrappers on the floor all Halloween, in the closet. That's what Bones Fossil's doing, man. He's out here eating all the Milky Ways and Snickers and you got to go stop him because he can't help himself. He gonna call a fake punt. So you gotta be that parent that's on him if he comes back. So, and they said, Danny, you're gonna be there one day. But Barry and I know exactly how it is, man. Don't trust these kids, man. Don't trust them.
You right. You right about that, Newy. You gotta keep an eye on them. Like you said, man, I'll tell my son, you can go ahead and get you a water out the fridge, man. I'll be right back. I'll come back. This man got a whole Gatorade in his hand. I'm like, hold on, man. I just told you to grab a water. You went in there and grabbed the Gatorade, man. So it's all about this, man. You give an inch, they take a mile. And my boy, special teams coordinator, he's been doing it. Because I'm sure Mike McCarthy's been telling him, hey, look, man, this is your deal. You get us in the best situation possible. And he said, hey, all right, I'll get us in the best situation. 4th and 10, y'all need a first? I got y'all. Double reverse fake pass. We got this. No, that's not going to happen that way. Mike, you got to keep your kids in check, man.
Listen, before we get into the last segment, I need to pose a question to both of y'all because I keep hearing it, and I want somebody to define it or tell me what they think it is. When we talk about Mike McCarthy's philosophy, Jerry went on and he talked about it for a while. And I really didn't get it, anything that was different from any other coach that would have took an interview or said anything about football. All three phases of the game need to complement each other. Offense can't outdo the defense. The defense can't outdo the offense. And then special teams has to show up. I think that's the basic lingo of every person that is a head coach or trying to be a head coach. So I'm trying to figure out what Mike McCarthy's philosophy is. Like I said, because I continue to say that Kellen Moore is running the offense. And Fossil is running the special teams, and then Nolan is running the defense. So I'm trying to figure out where Mike McCarthy's handprints are on the game when we see it on Sunday.
I think that's what we need to get a hold of. We don't have an identity as a team, and it's been like that since week 1. We thought coming into this season, Mike even said it. Yeah, Zeke's going to be a huge part of this offense. He's going to be that bell cow. We've yet to see that. We thought, all right, well, we're going to transition into Dak's arm leading us through this season. We haven't been able to do that because he's been injured. So, and this defense has been in shambles pretty much all season. So I don't know if he has a philosophy because at this point, this team just doesn't have an identity as a whole.
I go back to something that I learned a while back, and I use this all the time in talking about things. There's idealism and realism. Idealism meaning life the way you'd like it to be. And then there's realism. Life the way it really is. Mike McCarthy came out and talked to us a whole lot about idealistic things. Oh, yeah, we're going to make sure that Zeke is a big part of the offense. And he says, hey, it's about players, not scheme. He says these things. Idealistically, that's what he wants. But the reality is, 21 is not getting the ball the way top running backs are getting the ball and getting the touches. That Mike Nolan defense, that was about scheme. It's not about the players. And clearly that's been bad. So that's where I kind of come back to. You said things that idealistically you wanted to do, but realistically you haven't done it. And ultimately, as we heard from Jerry Jones today and Stephen Jones on Monday, they're giving him a pass for the entire season. There's some things they don't like, but overall they're saying he needs a mulligan, he needs a do-over. And Barry, you spoke about, hey, he deserves a full offseason. Who knows what the offseason is like? We're still not out of this COVID. Okay, we're almost to January, so we don't know if they'll have OTAs. We don't know. There's just so much we don't know yet. I was talking to somebody the other day about spring training. They don't even know what spring training is. Spring training's in basically mid-February. Here he is, end of December. Nobody even knows what Major League Baseball is getting ready to do. We haven't even got a start date for the National Hockey League. So I'm not sure what they'll be able to do and implement.
Well, yeah, with that, and then you see that Roger Goodell said that the NFL will not be trying to get priority on vaccines. So whenever they do come out, the NFL will not be the organization that's saying, hey, we need to jump to the front of the line so we can have OTAs and minicamp. So this thing could draw for a long time, and we could still have teams that don't have a full off season and don't have a regular training camp going into next season.
Very true.
And hey, look, this is what Roger Goodell's telling you here in December. You know, what happens when Roger Goodell, who works for the owners, and starts having some meetings in February and March, you know, and people start talking about the money. So, you know, it's easy to say it now, Raj. It's easy to say it now. See, you got 3 weeks left, you know, but let's see what starts happening when it starts getting toward, you know, the league year, and people start talking about trying to get that cash for next year, and, you know, no more, they want stadiums full. So we'll see. We'll see.
Are they forcing these dudes to take the vaccine? Is what I want to know.
That's a slippery slope,
good.
Man. That's a slippery slope.
Very, very, very good question. Hey, when we come back, with the playoffs basically almost out of reach, which players do we want to see more of in these final 3 football games? We'll dive into that next right here on the Players Lounge, brought to you by Hotels.com on DallasCowboys.com radio.
It's game day. You know what that means. First, kebab prep. Steak, pepper, onion, steak, pepper, onion. Next, a counterclockwise lap around the room. Now the lucky grease-stained jersey goes on. And lastly, the dance. You know the one. This is a game day ritual no matter where you are. Whether you're traveling to the game or watching from your favorite vacation spot, book a place to stay on Hotels.com and keep the tradition alive and well. Hotels.com, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Want to show your Texas and team pride too? You can. By purchasing your own Stetson, you can look just like how the flag guys do on field at every home game. Stetson hats, the official crown of all self-respecting Cowboys and your favorite football team.
Get yours today at shop.dallascowboys.com or at stetson.com.
The Cowboys Way, where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like. Where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day. Where we are all defined by one single thing, the star. Where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys Way.
Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
Hey there, Cowboys fans. With Tide Cleaners at-home pickup and delivery, cleaning your clothes has never been more convenient. Simply sign up at your local store, set out your dirty clothes, and one of our Tide Cleaners professionals will come directly to your home for a totally contactless experience. Your clean garments will be returned promptly the next scheduled delivery day, so skip the errand and enjoy life, not laundry. Visit TideCleaners.com or your local store to sign up for Tide Cleaners at-home pickup and delivery today.
Back to the Players Lounge.
Hey, don't miss the virtual Christmas extravaganza presented by Albertsons and Tom Thumb. The most electrifying holiday show of the season can be watched on Dallas Cowboys Facebook and Twitter on December 24th at 6 p.m. And then again at Central Time, I should say. Central Time on demand. So it's all December 24th. That's Christmas Eve. DallasCowboys.com/Christmas. If it's anything like the shows that I've seen up there at Frisco, it's going to be fantastic because that was a heck of a show that I got to go see. They lit up the Christmas tree. The rhythm and blues dancers came out there. Man, it was a lot of fun. And it was a heck of a job. So it was good stuff. And they had the Cowboy cheerleaders out there. So definitely check that out. You're in the Players Lounge brought to you by Hotels.com. I'm Newy Scruggs. Let's bring back former Cowboys football players Danny McCray and Barry Church. And gentlemen, this starts to become about young guys. And Jerry Jones says, hey, look, because of injuries, we've been playing a bunch of young guys. But who do you think that hasn't been playing, needs to be playing more, that you want to see of in these final 3 football games with pretty much the Cowboys not going to win the NFC East?
Go ahead, D-Mac.
Yeah, listen, I was going to get up on the Church because I really don't have many. I mean, my man Diggs is hurt. I would love to see him be able to come back. We got Neville Gallimore, who I'd like to see get some more PT because Newy wants so bad to draft a D lineman in the first round with the 5th pick. So hopefully this dude can show up and change Newy's mind. But honestly, I'm looking at it from this perspective. It's a high likelihood that we do not have a regular offseason. There's a high likelihood that going into training camp, it will be one of those ease into it, and then possibly the older guys will be playing that last preseason game and going straight into the season. So I want to see the older guys that are out there that you plan to still have on the roster next year treat this like training camp. I want you to go out there and I want you to try to get all this stuff fixed so you can go out on a good note going into next year, going into whatever offseason we may have, so you don't have these same issues that you had this season. So I want to see those 2 young guys play, but I still want to see Jalen Smith, LVE. I want to see them start getting Zeke some work. I want to see them work on some stuff so we can have some confidence going into next season, because we don't know when we'll see these guys back at practice all together again.
Look, for me, I want to see two guys that haven't got an opportunity all year, and I just don't understand why. And my 2 are Bradley Anae and Reggie Robinson. Now, look, Reggie Robinson was a corner we drafted in the 4th round. I think we transitioned him to safety. And I don't know why this guy has not gotten any play time, especially with the depth we've lost in the secondary. You would think they would decide to throw him in there. I mean, look, he dressed last week in Cincinnati, and even with all the injuries that we had in the secondary against Cincinnati, I think he had maybe 1 snap. He was thrown in there for maybe 1 or 2 snaps. He's just not getting any of the play time, and I just don't understand why, because we're not, able to go see practice and see what the players are out there doing. So I don't know if it's a lack of understanding the defense, his technique, or whatever it may be.
Oh, you know why?
Has not. Oh, yeah. He has not been able to sniff the field. All right? He has not been able to sniff the field. And Bradley and I, the same thing. I want to see what he got at the defensive end, especially if we're not going to bring back Alden Smith next year in free agency. I want to see what we got on the outside as far as rushing. We know what we got from DeMarcus Lawrence. We know what we can get from Randy Gregory. I'd like to see what we can get from him. And, I'll throw in an honorable mention, but I don't think he's going to play. And I can't, as much as I would love to see Double G out there playing these last couple games to see if he can get that backup role next year. As much as I would love to see it, I can't do that to the Red Pistol, man. I mean, look, this guy, he's came in, he's battled, and I'm but look, I can't do that to him. The guy has come in here. The guy's come in here, and he's been, he's been a stalwart in there, and he's tried his hardest, and he's probably looking to get a deal somewhere else next year. And if we wipe out the rest of the season, that would be an injustice to him. So I got to put the red rifle back in there to shoot his little pure guns the last couple games of the season. But maybe Double G will be back next year.
Hold on. No, let me say something to Church real quick. Church act like he don't know why Reggie Robinson isn't getting on the field. All right, if you are on a sinking ship, right? Imagine this: you on a ship that's sinking, and then you see a lifeboat pull up, and you won't even hop on it. That means you don't trust that lifeboat. You rather just sink with the ship that you own. That must be what they are seeing in practice and what they've seen from this dude, throughout the whole season, for them to be like, hey, we got all these injuries and we still ain't giving this dude no play time because we absolutely do not trust him. And this is on a bad defense. If you don't trust him over some of the stuff that we've seen already with guys getting released for not being able to play cover 3 and cover 1, and he still can't get no PT because they said he probably is going to look worse than them, we know absolutely why he hasn't got it. He's not ready. Not saying he's a bad player.
Pack his bag? Should he pack his bags, McCray? Is that what you're saying, man? He should go ahead and pack his bags.
No. Listen, Church. You know. So you remember we had Jakar Hamilton. He wasn't ready. He was an athlete, and if he got the right coaching around him, and he had the time to really get developed, then I think he would have been one of those top players. Look at Terence Mitchell. We thought Terence Mitchell is a guy who I played with, and he was shaky, and we thought that he wasn't going to make it. He's still out there playing in Cleveland, starting at cornerback. He's been starting for the last 2 or 3 years, I believe. So if you get the right coaches around some of these guys, I think they'll be all right. But obviously Reggie Robinson isn't ready. So, Church, I don't want to see him go out there and get his confidence messed up for the rest of the season.
Hey, man, coming from McCray, man, talking about he better hope the boy signed a 6-month lease, man. That's all he's saying, man.
No. If they put him out there, he better sign a 6-month lease.
McCray, what you're saying is the absolute truth, because Stephen Jones was asked that question, and he said the same thing. You know what? Some guys, it takes them a little bit longer. They're coming out of Tulsa, they still like the player, but he's growing. He's still growing. So that was the kind word Stephen Jones had to say about Robinson. So that's why he hasn't played 100%. He's not ready.
Is Robinson on the roster next year?
Yes.
Is Robinson on the roster next year?
Yes, he's on the roster. Yes.
I'll tell you what, man. Y'all boy.
Whoa. Okay, first off, you got to remember now, if they go and sign Dak Prescott like they say they are, that's going to be a mega deal. They don't have a whole lot of money. So you're going to be a team that's in need of draft picks, and you're going to have to develop players. So I see him being on the football team because he's also going to be cheap. So that's a part of it.
I'm not so sure Dak's coming back.
I think Dak will be. I
don't know.
So you changed your mind on this too, Church?
What you saying? I told y'all what the solution was. If we went into the draft, was able to get one of them QBs, I told y'all what the solution was. Easy fix.
I'm going back to the beginning. I'm going back to the beginning of the season when Church said there's no way that Dak Prescott is not on this team next season. All right? You said you called us crazy. And now
nobody thought we was going to be in this situation. Nobody thought we was going to have a chance to get a top 5
pick. It ain't even
a
whole season.
Now it is here. And I'm telling you, the easiest solution, hey, as much as it would hurt the whole Dallas community as fan base, all that stuff, we got to let the man ride. Use that money on defense. I'm telling you, it's the easy solution. It's the same thing we did in 2016, basically, except Romo got hurt.
Church, this is the issue. The ownership does not feel the same way. They want him here. Jerry's 78 years old? He's not trying to start over with an unproven rookie. They're not going to do it. So the whole thought about here's what you should be hoping for. I'll say more realistic. You got your idealistic thing about taking a quarterback, but realistically, what you should hope for is that the Cowboys can at least get a top 5 pick, maybe even get to number 4, and be able to trade it because somebody else wants to go get a quarterback in those spots. Because we know Lawrence is going number 1. They're talking about that BYU kid, maybe the second one, and Fields being the third. And there's enough. We've already gone over this. There's enough quarterbacks in this teams in this league that need some franchise quarterbacks. So if you're sitting there at 4 or 5, be able to trade down, take yourself a defensive back, take yourself a defensive lineman, and move on. That's going to be more realistic about what we see, in my opinion.
But those are unproven players trying to go to a defense that's in shambles. I mean, if you get these, but what I'm saying is you use that money and go get you some free agents on the defense. There's a plethora of defensive guys out there.
But I'm just
I understand that. I understand.
That's it.
I know.
There's a section of people like you, Barry Church, that are out there that believe this, but they've told you and they want him back. And in my opinion, I think he wants to be back, and that's a big thing there too. I think he wants to be back. That he enjoys being the Cowboy quarterback and all the endorsements, everything else that gets there. I think he wants to be back. And so
they would be crazy. They would be absolutely crazy not to bring Dak Prescott back here as a Dallas Cowboys quarterback and go get Justin Fields at the number 5 pick. I can see if you had number 1 possibly, and you just saw something in Trevor Lawrence that you just really like, which I don't feel the same way. But I'm not risking everything to go get Justin Fields. I'm not. We've seen what Dak can do. We've seen what we look like with Dak. We've seen what we look like without him. And life without Dak is painful. It hurts. It has Church backpedaling, getting off the Kool-Aid. It has Church doing stuff that I've never seen them do before. That's what life without Dak Prescott is. And you talk about moving on to Justin Fields. Nah, you only strike gold once. I mean, what y'all did in 2016 and found Dak in the 4th round, it ain't happening again, even with a first rounder. So stick with what you got.
I love Dak. Dak he's a hell of a player, but you're only as good as your defense, man. I'm telling you. And if we go out there and we bring Dak back, this defense is going to be in shambles, and we'll be doing the same thing, throwing empty calories. We'll have 5,000 yards, 35 touchdowns, and we'll be 9-7. I mean, I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Wait, hold on. Newy, who are your guys? Hold on. We didn't even give Newy a chance to who you want to see play before, because Newy don't like to answer the questions.
Oh, my guy, I wrote down one guy here, and that was Tyler Biadasz. And Joe Looney's been playing. Yeah. Biadasz has gotten cleared here. To me, the most important thing this young center can do is get some snaps, because he's also going to be having to play with Dak Prescott. So here's a whole new battery that's got to get going and operating in the next year. So I want to get Tyler Biadasz as much opportunity to play and get acclimated to the NFL as possible. So that's my guy I'd like to see more out of. I love Joe Looney. I love what Joe brings. But going forward, I think that Tyler Biadasz is going to be that guy who needs to get some snaps now that he's healthy.
No, I agree. I think Biadasz is just as good as Joe Looney is right now as a rookie. And I think you got to go ahead and get him his snaps in going into next year, get his development going, and hopefully he can be that Travis Frederick type center, that stalwart on the offensive line. And I think we need to see that now. And, no disrespect to Joe Looney, but, it's Biadasz's time.
Well, Biadasz is going to be here. Joe Looney's going to be a free agent. And so if the future is right there, then get that guy some snaps. Also, and I don't believe we'll see Zach Martin the rest of the year. But if he's even eligible to come back, I would not want to play him, because I want to keep seeing Conor McGovern. Because I think next year they need to have a real competition at that left guard spot between Conor Williams and Conor McGovern. And if it's up to me, I would think I'd start Conor McGovern at left guard, and I think about putting Conor Williams at tackle, being that swing tackle. Because if you decide that you're not going to draft a tackle at all, you need to address it. And these Cam Flemings and Cam Irving experiments have not gone well at all. Conor Williams became an All-American player as a tackle at Texas. A lot of people think that he's not strong enough to play guard, so maybe put him out at tackle. But they've got to fix that, and the best way to do it, and economically do it, in my opinion, is to take Conor Williams and start putting him out there at tackle starting next year.
I agree.
Or draft one. You want to get the economics.
Here we go. After that offensive tackle.
Draft you a guy, man. Church. Take care of Tyrus Smith's spot, man. And like I said, it's the injuries. It's not him.
Church, get you, man. That's the end of the show, okay? I'm not going to start to go down this road.
Church wants Justin Fields. I don't want to hear this.
I'm done.
Church wants Justin Fields over Dak Prescott. I don't want to hear. Church's take is way more crazier than mine. And you and this defensive tackle, I think it's yes. Justin Fields over Dak Prescott is crazy.
Real quick before we go, CB. The best years Dallas Cowboys have had with Dak Prescott was when he was unproven and as a rookie, and he had a solid defense. So why don't we do that same formula? Get a guy that was good in college. He might come in here, provide some juice for us, and we take that money from Dak Prescott, put it towards the defense.
Solid defense
of free agents out there.
Stop it.
Defense wins championships.
The best years that the Cowboys,
the stadium full.
The best years,
bring back Des Prescott.
The best years that the Cowboys have had. The best years the Cowboys have had were when they've been dependent on their offensive line to make the holes for Zeke and DeMarco Murray and protect Dak when he stepped back to throw in the pocket. Those are the best years. Defense has been okay. Offensive line has been their calling card when they've been good and they've been making those playoff runs.
I would just love to know, Barry Church, give me one Ohio State quarterback that's good, that's been good in the league.
Oh, that ain't fair, man.
I'm gonna let you go think. I'm gonna let you go sleep on that.
Fields started at Georgia, though. Fields started at Georgia, then he transferred to Ohio State. So I'm saying, he might break the mold. He might break the mold.
We got.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Although it was Dwayne Haskins, the last dude they put out of there. For Chris Beam, for Barry Church, Danny McCray, I'm Newy Scruggs. Thank you for checking out the Players Lounge, brought to you by Hotels.com right here on DallasCowboys.com radio.
Justin Fields, this dude over there.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?